All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Frieren, episode 1. Okay.
Right.
Peak fantasy?
New fantasy.
New fantasy.
Modern fantasy.
Yep.
Not an isekai.
Right.
We've been told quite extensively, because I think there was a miscommunication that this was an isekai, and I wasn't necessarily like thinking, oh, well, we should check it out immediately. But no, this is not just fantasy. This has some D&D aspects to it in some ways. This has some things that are right up our alley in some ways. Just
fantasy alone. I've been wanting more of those, especially of the non-isekai variety, but okay, you've got your own world, no connections to our world. What do you got? What do you got for us? What are you going to give us? Yes, let's go.
Yeah, other than that, no real knowledge about what this show is, other than there was some kind of adventuring party involved.
I think the main girl has white hair.
And yeah, that's it.
Yep.
We particularly, just say this, we are big fans of high fantasy in general. We love all fantasy stories in general. We are particularly big fans of traditional TTRPG, tabletop RPG fantasies as well. So if we're making a lot of comparisons and connections and stuff in that regard, that's where that comes from.
Yep.
But yeah, welcome to our channel, and be sure to check us out and all of our other reactions and stuff we've got. So yeah, comment, subscribe, and all that, because we're probably going to find a bunch of people who have never seen our channel before because of this
holy
series.
Shit, this took the internet by storm.
Yeah, apparently. Yeah.
So
really excited to get into it and be involved in the discussion surrounding a new anime that's we're only relatively behind on, so that'll be that'll be pretty fun. So yeah, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Oh,
banger alert! Is this going to be one of those I woke up and the world is so different now?
Maybe get into some fun stuff.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
because the shadows, it's I outlived all these people, you know.
Also, just the art style is beautiful.
Oh my god, yeah. I have to look at the staff list for this anime. It's Madhouse!
You had my curiosity, now you have my attention.
Yeah. Another said the continent river, the place the people call heaven. Oriole.
The land where souls rest.
Okay. Wow, we're starting off like a book. Many souls gathered here, and I spoke with friends who once fought alongside me. Flam, the legendary mage. Oh.
Alright.
Wow. So is our main character Flam, or is this just a book that she's she's reading the book. Okay.
Okay.
It's rather meta.
Okay, so that is her name.
God, is that our dwarf?
Yeah, I love how minimal his design is. Look for work, so
Journey's End.
Yeah.
Our level 20 adventurers now have to
adjust back to regular life. Yeah, because if she's even if it's young by elf years.
Okay. Damn, little animations being given to all the little people in the crowd and stuff. These are very German names.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess Frieren, that tracks, yeah.
Whoa!
A magical fireworks reenactment of the battle. Oh my god, the atmosphere. Whoa!
It's great.
Look at all this. Animation being given to all the non-focus characters there. Just thinking back to their beginnings, yeah.
Yeah.
So the depressing part of this story is that inevitably one of them becomes evil in the long haul.
Well, or just can't adjust.
Right, because they can't adjust, yeah.
Right, and I feel like it's going to be the brother.
I feel like it could be like all of them or any one of them.
Sure, and she's the only one who can.
Oh!
Like a proper D&D party.
Yep, yep. Okay, we're just actually having D&D references.
Yeah.
Okay. It's even in a square room in the middle.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
is
it's like
this?
about as obvious as could be.
Wow.
The
Yeah.
life of an elf. God, I love this dwarf so much.
Yeah. He's not saying anything.
Nope. Not even really moving.
Damn.
Yeah.
So we're gonna time skip to one of
To
these
the
being
next
seen
one.
again.
Yeah,
and they're all
exactly.
gonna be either dead or gone.
Yeah, because she might be the only elf. Like, I was thinking that dude was her brother, but he's not an elf, so... Oh... God, are we gonna get like an up montage? All of a sudden they're all old and dying and she's not.
The dwarf's just still gonna look the exact same.
Yes, dwarf still looks the exact same. Yeah.
So we'll use her as the vehicle to understand the world because she's
Sure.
seen so much of it.
Right, yeah, it's seasons, years change, like passing in the blink of an eye.
Yep. I love this little detail of her being a haggler, like
Yeah.
like
I mean,
money.
every wizard has to be, right?
Yeah.
Buying spells is expensive. Yeah. Some things don't change.
She's like, there's good shit in here.
Yeah,
though.
exactly. I saw a spell
He's gonna
book.
do 3d6 piercing damage a turn. I can deal with that. That's
Yep.
easy. Whoa. Wow, the guy's already old. Yeah.
なんか邪悪なオーラみたいなの出てるけど人体に害はないよね。わかんないか。もうすぐエーラ流星の時期だし、ついでに取りに行くか。
That's so extra. What the hell? So awesome.
ヒンメル。
Oh.
老いぼれてる。言い方ひどくない。年を取った僕もなかなかイケメンだろ。
Oh.
あと魔王城で拾ったやつなんだけど。暗黒竜の角だね。片時も忘れたことはないよ。ずっとダンスから邪悪なオーラが出ていたからね。なんかごめん。
I think.
適当に納屋にでも放り込んでおいてくれてよかったのに。
Well, then someone could have bumped into it. Yeah, yeah.
君にとっては軽い気持ちで預けたものかもしれないけど、僕にとっては大切な仲間から預かった大事なものなんだ。いつか君にこうして返すべきものだったんだ。
Shit.
Turning on the emotions even in the first episode.
そんな大層なものじゃないんだけどな。
Handing it to a familiar of hers.
ヒンメルまだハゲなんだからこだわったって意味ないよ。ハゲなりのこだわりがあるの。
She's the one with some kind of urgency,
Right.
despite
Yeah.
being immortal.
Uh-huh.
And now he's wanting to take it easy and slow it down. The dwarf looks exactly the same.
Yep.
He does.
Yeah, he aged a lot more gracefully.
Oh,
What are you talking about?
he's got
I'm
some
completely
wrinkles.
different.
He's got some wrinkles under his eyes. Wait, Wait, they're old. How are they gonna walk that far?
Yeah. What? Just, a few long rests, it'll be fine.
Oh. Oh, that's why. Because maybe she could teleport them there, but like...
Right. Yeah, because if it also, you only visit people every 50 years or so, then you wouldn't be in any rush to have the visit be a short one.
Campfire rests and everything. What the hell was that?
I love that we don't even see his legs there. Doesn't even need an axe.
Jesus! Clifford went and became a demon. What the hell was that?
He went into Kingdom Hearts and embraced the darkness.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh. Oh, the very end. He's not gonna make the walk back? Oh, it is the perfect place for it. Wow.
Okay. Giving us a shot like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Now a
Funeral. Yeah.
Yep.
In before some wild necromancy in 25 episodes. Yeah. And to them all, it's one of the great heroes, you know?
Yeah, they're the descendants of the people that were saved.
Ah, sure. A little donk.
Yeah.
No, he lived a full life. Could also be one of those things where it hasn't fully hit her yet. Oh.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Right, it goes so fast because, we got to save the world. Let's go.
Yeah. It was only a mere 10 years, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Damn.
Oh.
All right. Yep. There it is.
二人とも顔をよく見せて。これで最後になるでしょうからね。
どこか悪いの？
長年の酒が足りましてね。
Nice.
私たちは世界を救った勇者パーティーですよ。死後は天国で贅沢三昧に決まっています。そのために私はあなた
Beyond the end.
Uh-huh.
それではお先に。
You'll probably see me again.
Oh, yeah.
I'm old as stone.
Right.
魔法収集の旅か。
それもあるけど、
Do you want some company?
私はもっと人間を知ろうと思う。
Oh.
そう。
I feel like I owe it to Himmel.
それで一つ相談なんだけど、私魔法職だからさ。
Oh.
Yeah.
勘弁してくれ。もう物を触れるような年じゃない。
I mean, use that stick to
Yeah, pretty
good
great. Yeah.
stuff earlier.
人生ってのは衰えてからの方が案外長い。
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
じゃあまたね、アイゼン。
So is this going to be the story of how she finds a new adventuring party and then
She tries to cherish them as much
exactly.
as possible.
Yeah.
20 years.
Wow.
Okay.
何かお探しでしょうか。
Oh, this is the girl from the OP.
Yep.
You know, she's a little bit younger.
ハイターって人の家を探して
I recognize her voice actress too.
Yeah, she does sound familiar.
かっこよく死ぬのも難しいものですな。
墓に備える酒買ってきちゃったけど一杯やる？
酒はもうやめ
That's probably why he's living longer.
Right.
今更言いそびって女神様が許してくれないと思うけどね。
Ah, he's a tea drinker now. Good man. Channel your inner Iroh.
あの子は
Fern.
南側諸国の繊細孤児でした。
旅先で会う人とはなるべく関わるようにしているからね。それにハイターにはたくさん借りがあるから死なれる前に返しに来た。
Okay.
Won't mean as much really now, but okay, yeah.
Look after Fern.
弟子を取ります。
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
実戦での見習い魔法使いの死亡率は知ってるでしょ。友人から預かった子を死地に送るつもりはない。
では別の頼みを。賢者エイビヒの墓所から出土したものです。この魔導書には今は失われた死
I knew it. I
Holy
knew it.
shit.
We're getting some necromancy in here.
絵を使った暗号でしょ。この時代の人はこういうのが好きだね。まあ5、6年もあれば。
そうですか。
でもこんなの解読してどうすんのさ。
理由は2つあります。一つはあなたたちの手前格好をつけていたから。もう一つは前より死ぬのが怖くなったから。
Huh.
クシとは言わず、ほんの少し、ほんの少し。
And this is how the world ends up needing saving again?
それに聖典には健やかな息を
That shadow over him when
Yeah.
he said that.
Uh-huh.
You corrupt priest.
Yeah.
解読の片手まで構わないので、
While doing that, there you go.
私はそうでもって、どうも
Okay.
Wait. This actually has a really cool roundabout way of, being a potential scheme. If he's already kind of pushed into Fern that she needs to be the one to resurrect him, if she learns it, then teaches it to Fern, then
Oh.
Fern will be the one
Oh, yeah.
to resurrect her.
There could be all kinds of ways it could go.
やっぱり魔力探知にほとんど引っかからない。卓越した魔力の操作技術だ。この年で一体どれだけの研鑽を積んだんだ。
See, my mind goes to
Yeah.
reincarnation.
あの一番岩を打ち抜けば
Huh?
一人前になれると言われました。
へえ、ハイターも分かってんじゃん。あれはね。
Too far away.
このように魔力が離散してしまい届かないのです。
That
なるほどね。
どのような手術
Well.
をすれば良いのでしょうか。
And no, like, build up or anything.
Yeah, where'd you learn all this?
魔法は好き。
Oh.
ほどほどでございます。
私と同じだ。
All right.
That was a beautiful first episode.
Wonderful
Holy
opening
shit.
here. Wonderful ending and episode.
That ending in particular, that, like, I love the atmospheric, quiet, beautiful, EDs, right? Like, those are some of my favorite experiences with anime in general, right? Is getting an awesome episode and then getting that at the end. But holy shit, that like
visuals,
blasted its
yeah.
way into very quickly the upper echelons of like EDs I've ever seen. Like that was incredible.
Like, it's going to get even better as we get more attached to the characters
yeah.
in the world and stuff,
Right.
so it'll mean more.
Yep.
But for now, even with the slightest bit of attachment that we have, this is a very, very strong contender for, like,
Oh,
at
yes.
least visuals in an ED combined with the music is perfect.
But also, even with the music, it doesn't just stay with the one tone, right? It has, like, the slower stuff, but then it starts to swell as it goes on and, like, just becomes this, like, even more incredible thing.
Right. It seems that this anime is going to be encompassing two aspects here. Life and death.
Sure.
And when you have life, how do you celebrate it? How do you experience it?
Yeah.
How do you take aspects of it and, eat of it, enjoy it.
Suck the marrow out of it.
Suck the marrow out of it. Yeah, exactly.
And so it feels very fitting that after you have a bunch of people die, one, you have the priest who's like, hey, maybe I don't want to die, but then also, can you take care of this child, right? So now it's okay, Frieren, you will see this person grow up and also maybe grow old and die.
Yeah.
Okay.
Himmel's already passed. Eisen is our stone.
God,
hard as stone.
I loved
just awkward dwarf.
Eisen so much. Like it's.
He's such an archetype.
He's such an archetype, and I can't help but like look at the different facets of like, oh hey, if say Hater is going to be more of the important character in the story moving forward,
right?
Then yeah, you have the other two not take as much time in the episode,
yeah.
But having our dwarf boy just be like, like you said, probably like 15 words the entire episode, and yet I absolutely love him already.
Yeah,
like that was wonderful.
It's the kind of stuff that reminds me of what was the cute little boy fantasy that we watched recently?
Yes. Mine's spacing
Wit
on the
Studio.
Yeah,
that one. I forgot the name of it already. But
Ranking of Kings.
Thank you, Osama. Yeah. That one has the same vibe.
Yes.
Of his character. So if we're gonna get elements of that in this anime, this is gonna be a 10 out of 10 for me in terms of the fantasy anime specifically.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Frieren is our main character. She has a couple problems. One, while this is very much a chill, relaxed episode, we can very easily see like a few things being very specifically foreshadowed. One, she had a moment where she wasn't emotionally responding to the death of Himmel.
Yep.
And the people in the crowd were like, wait, aren't those supposed to be his friends? The ones that...
Yeah.
Why aren't they... why isn't she
what are you
showing a
talking
sad
about?
face?
They were
And they're like, hey,
practically
we're not...
strangers.
we're not crying either. Because there's an aspect of this where it's this is something that we knew was coming and we're ready for it. And we already went through so many life or death moments that this is probably,
we were
ready for this.
Well, not just ready for it. This was probably the kind of thing that they were hoping for.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we be so lucky to be able to actually just die of old age?
Yeah.
Right? To just pass quietly and sleep.
Frieren's there,
and
tugging her
peacefully.
ears, like,
yeah,
sure,
yeah. Right. But for her, like, especially, so I got the vibe that it's like she probably came from some kind of like, she hadn't maybe been around him, or do you want to not go into...
No. I would love to go into her backstory here, but I want to go into her problems specifically first.
Right. She is not used to dealing with people that are mortals.
Right.
And
yet she spent 10 years adventuring with them.
But that's a blink of an eye for an elf, right?
Right. But she spent also an indeterminate amount of time knowing magic and stuff beforehand. Considering the way in which she gathers spells and stuff, she's not young. By any stretch of it. She's probably centuries old before she ended up even adventuring.
Sure.
So the idea that she then was strong enough to defeat the Demon King with these other three very much not immortal, people, or very much not like elf lifespan kind of people
exactly.
and stuff.
Even if, maybe Eisen lives a bit longer than, your average human.
Yeah. I think dwarves in typical like Tolkien style fantasy live to be about 500. Like that's about
at least,
their
at least
their,
a few hundred
average.
years. And I'm curious to know whether this goes for the true like Tolkien style take for elves, where it's they really will not die of old age ever, whereas for a lot of like other fantasy stories, because for whatever reason, they don't quite do that, and it's they'll live for like 1,000 years or something. Still a ridiculous amount of time.
Right, they'll live for 10x, 100x times the human lifespan or something like that, and it varies based on that kind of stuff there. But her main problems are she can't relate to the people specifically, but also we see that she doesn't necessarily live with any kind of urgency. She doesn't necessarily care about time slipping by. And yet, when she had that moment at the grave as he was being buried, she realized, shit, I should have spent more time getting to know him. I didn't even really know him. And yet, I felt this connection that he had towards me. Yeah. And that's the thing, is that you could have seen it as, oh, I barely got to know him. But to them, they might be like, we spent 10 years with you. We got to know you so well. Right. And that's such a beautiful dichotomy of having someone who is like, no, we experience the same reality. and yet because of our perspectives, you see it as I barely got to know you, and they probably see it as, oh, we got to know you wonderfully. That's such a fun like weakness for our immortal character.
Right.
It's their perspective that's off.
For a long time, I've had a soft spot for like the kudere characters dealing with their journey to understand emotions. You know?
Oh
like,
yeah,
like
this is right up your alley.
Yeah. Like there have been plenty of wonderful stories that have done that. You know, whether you're talking
so many.
I don't need to list them. There's so many of them, right?
Plenty.
And so to have that be established from the get-go, one, great, because that means that we don't need to have any particular plot conflict in order to be engaged in what's going on, even though there could be some.
Oh, there definitely will be eventually.
No, there will be eventually, but we could already potentially be seeing maybe what some of them will be.
Sure.
And yet, if we don't get that for a while, that's fine. Yep. Because does it need to happen right now? No, because she's an elf, right? It will just probably happen at some point, right? Like the fact that Fern is a war orphan, that means there's a war still happening somewhere. It's not, the Demon King or whatever, right?
But it could be a thing of where, like it's a thing on the level that it's like, oh yeah, wars pop up and they're done in 2 years.
Yeah, exactly, right?
It's
like
not,
it's
not world shattering,
Exactly. That stuff still happens. It's just, oh hey, the world is not going to end, right? And so that now these characters don't have anything really urgent to deal with, but she has this emotional thing that she's wrestling with, and so cool. We know what her journey will probably be, and I just gotta say, to add to the checklist of things that I really enjoy seeing in stories, having the surrogate parent, that now has to figure out how to basically take care of a young person, not just physically, but also emotional needs as well.
In ways that they are not equipped for.
In ways that they are not equipped for. Like, I am absolutely here for that.
That's one of our favorite struggles in general, is basically a person being given an emotional burden that they're not ready to handle, and yet they are forced to handle it.
Right.
While they might not be good at it at any point, it's the idea and the ways that the relationship is shaped and adapts around that, and then by extension the way in which they help them in other areas, and then
both people are made better as a result of
exactly
it.
Right, and then it circles back around to them being helped instead of just being the helper. As far as it being a fantasy setting, I like that we very much got nothing as far as world building stuff in this episode. This is something that I think most high fantasy creators and stuff need to take just notes from. Give us a very simple introduction to characters first.
Well, that's also
we don't need to know what this kingdom is or what their tie is to the holy city or anything like that.
But also, that's the main benefit of using convention, right? The fact that it's the Demon King, and you've got classic Tolkien kind of fantasy races. You've got
they
the
could have
elves
said
and
the
dwarves,
Dark Lord. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, exactly, right? There's all of these things where it's you're fairly familiar with this kind of world, and things like that. Cool. That's what we're dealing with. We're going to get into that more later. But for now, that's just a backdrop to give a wonderful aesthetic to everything, while we then deal with, oh, hey, how does this elf, wrestle with the fact that she outlives all her friends?
Right. I think that's also where this being a visual medium is just perfect for this kind of story as well. The convention doesn't even need to be told to us. It's just literally shown by the fact that we saw two mimics in the same episode.
Right.
Yeah.
And then also just things like the castle, and it's oh, okay, there you go. That already tells you a whole ton about this world, right?
Yeah. So, Frieren being our main character now, and also given that in the first episode we didn't move the pacing fast enough that all the main four adventurers are, all three of the main four adventurers have passed away. We now have our first goal for Frieren now. And I am very much wanting to cook way too quickly onto this.
Oh, yeah.
This pile
Right.
here.
It's hang on. This is the first episode. Okay, but
I gotta say, Hater gave us 3 moments of very abrupt characterization.
Oh, yeah.
That to someone like Frieren, she wouldn't care or notice about.
Nope.
But me as a human
who
understands the fear of mortality and understands the ways in which fear can change a person, but also the ways in which we saw the same person at every instance of that time, and in some ways Frieren noticed it too. And that's that Hater is selfish.
Yeah.
He doesn't really care about other people.
And
that's normal.
yes.
Most people are pretty selfish.
That makes
but
for
that was the main thing that they characterized him with.
Yes, and what I love about this is that there's the obvious things of like, okay, is he going to try, like, you know, is he going to be some
Lich or
big bad,
something.
you know, some lich or something, and she brought it about, and so now she feels the responsibility to end it. But then there's the emotional connection because
Yeah,
you know,
who knows?
You could absolutely do that and have it be a wonderfully rich, nuanced thing that could happen
Yeah,
because of how he's
absolutely.
been set up and all that stuff. But at the same time,
You don't
could
have to.
You don't have to.
No.
You could just have it be, no, he's a regular dude that like, yeah, he's not some saint. He's a priest that did some crazy stuff. But yeah, he just wants to have a, you know, a comfy life. He wants to know that he's not going to, you know, have to deal with some eternal torment or whatever, right? You know, when he dies because of what he had done previously.
Yeah, maybe the goddess he served actually really doesn't like the life that he lived, and he's terrified of being, you know, put on the scales of judgment in his life.
The priest seeking atonement is a classic character archetype in general, and not classic in like the it's overdone. Like it's fantastic when it's done because it's an inherent contradiction.
Right.
So
yeah.
if we wanted to have Hater be like an ongoing character for a little bit, even if he does become immortal and all that stuff.
Sure.
And it's no, I'm not doing any evil shit. I'm just great. I
I don't feel like I did enough in my 10 years.
I don't feel like I did enough.
Adventurer.
I can keep taking care of Fern. Thanks for teaching her the bits of magic. You know,
Yeah.
I'll take over from here, and then maybe that could be something where she's like, oh wait, hang on, I actually got attached to Fern.
Or it's something where they keep coming back to him, and he keeps getting older and older, and it's this thing of where it's like,
Right,
no, you probably should let yourself go at this point.
Yeah, like maybe that could be something where he goes on kind of a similar journey to Frieren.
Sure.
Where as she is learning to basically value the short lives that humans live,
Yeah.
he might also then learn to value it as he realizes, you know, I feel thin like butter scraped over too much bread, you know.
Right.
Maybe he does need to rest. And then that could be a point where she finally says goodbye to the last person that she knew from back then, you know? Like or maybe he becomes bad, but the thing is resolved in 2 episodes because in the grand scheme of her life it's still a blip, right? And then that's just an additional thing that gives context for when she meets other people in addition to Fern that become part of her new, you know, adventuring group or something.
Yeah, I just do want to bring up the ways in which, if this is set up for an antagonist, they did a really good job of doing the very small minor things to set this all up. So at his youngest, when they leave after the party there, he says, I can't understand what being an elf must be like.
Yeah.
Okay, that's note number 1. Next is once we see him...
Yeah, and that's when he's already young.
That's when he's already young.
Uh-huh.
Then when we see him at the thing here of him being the bishop of the holy city, does he say a bishop? A bishop of the holy city, after all. So he's now kind of not
He's
just
well
dignified,
established.
he's got wealth and influence and power
right.
now.
So if he wanted to do bad things, he totally could. Yes.
Right. And he also has a little bit of a tendency to maybe...
Yeah, the patting of her head,
which we see generally as a cute anime
you know,
trope
comforting thing. It could also be the thing of the...
But she specifically doesn't like it, and he keeps doing
it.
it.
And it made for a great coming full circle when it came to the funeral, right?
Yeah.
Awesome, fantastic. But it could also totally be a thing of where he's hyper fixating on this immortal that, you know, lives around him.
Yep.
And, you know,
Very possible.
the head pats are generally the things that you also do to people that are young, right?
Yeah.
And so it's no matter what happens, you're still young, you know. Which there's also some all sorts of fun, creepy things that you could do for a bad guy that's a priest.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
Given that. But also something that I want to bring up, he did not age nearly as much as Himmel, it would seem. Right?
Like, yeah, it might be that just he was the youngest of them.
But he looked to me like he was a bit older than Himmel when they were first shown.
He did.
And the fact that Himmel went from the way he was to hunched over, snow white beard, you know, right? Like I'm dying of old age very soon. Who knows? Yeah. Maybe that was because of the horn. You know, it was nearby and it made him age faster.
I think that's actually a very real.
I think that is a very real possibility because he did not look like somebody that would be like 70 there, right? He seemed a bit older than that. But I will say, Hater, you have aged quite nicely.
Right, and it's probably also the quality of living.
Sure.
You know, potentially also some gene stuff is there as well.
Nice food, clean environment, you know, who knows, right?
any kind of things there. But I also wanted to bring up the idea of they weren't wearing sad expressions. He's the one to kind of bring it up. Yet, while that's a funny joke, that's them standing with her. But again, it fits in a little bit with him being selfish. Then at the end, when they go to, kind of comfort her and stuff, he pats
he does
her
the
head,
head
the
pat.
thing that she doesn't like.
Right. Whereas, yeah.
But then, he makes the joke about divine, or I think she made the joke about divine. No. Isaac made the joke about divine punishment. That's
right.
Yeah. So offer a drink at my grave. So then she says, "Wait, you're not afraid of dying?" And he says, we're the party of adventurers that saved the world. We'll surely be living the good life in heaven after death. That's the whole reason I fought alongside you.
He says as he's entering into the shadow of the,
Right. Which is
stagecoach.
Yeah, which is something where I think this is the kind of person that could never lie to the people that he's traveled with for a decade.
Yeah, I think he genuinely does care about them. He's not the kind of person where he'd be some cackling, mustache twirling monster.
No, he cares about them, but him saying the whole reason I fought alongside you was because I wanted to live the good life after death.
Which is like, hey, that's fair, but that means that we don't necessarily need to have a lot of trust in you that you won't do some bad shit later when it's in your self-interest.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when you get afraid.
Exactly.
About death.
Yep.
Which then we literally bring up later in that he is afraid of death. He is actually, someone who's.
And I just want to say, I find it very sus that, why are you taking care of this person? You're not exactly the, you're not exactly the type to, take people in. Oh, he happens to find someone that's incredibly young, that is incredibly gifted with magic, the kind of magic that maybe he needs Frieren to figure out how to do, right? Like, even if he did figure out how to be immortal right now, okay, why would he want to be immortal in this body? That sounds like it would suck.
No.
That sounds like it would suck. But if you could be reincarnated into the body of someone who's young, that has very powerful magic at their disposal.
Yeah. And there's a possibility that it's still just he doesn't know, he's just grasping at straws, and this is something where he's like, I know that this probably has something like this, but I need you to learn it, and because you have the time to definitely learn it, and he says, I have 2 reasons, and then he starts to do the circle thing where they show...
which is like, while also in like a basement, like brick, like very much would totally fit for a spooky villain area.
Yeah. He's no more afraid of dying than he was before. Even if I can't achieve immortality, I'd like a bit more time. She's not really picking up on anything problematic there, but then they shadow his face there.
And do the no eyes behind the glasses, which could totally just be because it's a faraway shot,
But he's taking conjecture of literally like, hey, here's what our scripture tells us to live healthy lives. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, long life is the ultimate expression of that. And she has our gag of the you corrupt priest.
Right.
But then he goes, also,
in your spare time when you teach Frieren magic, yeah.
Yeah, because he basically gets her with the thing that I know that you want, which is to learn more spells. That's your thing. You just go and collect more spells. Well, I gave you the means to potentially collect some really cool spells. But now I'm going to get you to say yes to the thing that you said no to previously by putting this there after that. Yeah.
Something that I want to point out. Theoretically, he could have been wanting to do this for a long time.
Yep.
And he specifically waited because he saw that this was going to start to set in, that she would be distraught by seeing people die and things like that.
Possibly.
But also, this is because of her perspective. She is the person who would have the least inhibitions if he were to probably bring up the idea of like, immortality and things like that, right? Because if
it's not something special to her.
It's not something special to her, right? Whereas like with like humans and stuff, they might be like, whoa, shit, wait.
Huh? You doing some lich stuff, bro?
Yeah, exactly, right? Whereas it's like, you just want to be like an elf. I mean, yeah, that makes sense, right? Sure. It's not all it's cracked up to be.
Player going to the DM and be like, so I want to make my character into a lich at some point. I made a wizard specifically to do that. All the other players look at them like, Chotamate. Wait. So you want to be the big bad? Is that what I'm hearing?
No.
You understand that it's not just you becoming immortal, it's you sacrificing all this stuff.
No,
and then
guys.
doing
I want to be the big bad of the next campaign, not this one.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the meantime, now I'm going to do all the sacrificing, all the fucked up stuff with souls and all that other kind of shit.
And the thing is, we don't actually have a whole lot of information that would be directly pointing to this.
Nope.
But this episode demonstrated that it is playing to conventions with regards to fantasy as a way to quickly communicate things to us, because there are certain things that just won't be as important, right?
Yes.
And so
thus,
if it's doing that already, it would not be crazy to think that that's something that it's doing with the other stuff that it's set up in this episode.
Down the line.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's how foreshadowing works.
Uh-huh.
But, all right. Really, really cool stuff. And now we've got Fern and Frieren. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a fun... Fern and Frieren.
Fern and Frieren. Yeah, exactly. All the letters of Fern's name are in Frieren's name.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be fun. But y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You get an early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us in the community there about this show, about anime in general. And also be sure to check out my Baldur's Gate 3 Let's Play on Twitch. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.